No, not one. That's the name of this last one in the series called Friend. Peter and some others were going out to fish in John chapter 21. And we read that they got in the boat all night and caught nothing. And early the next morning, Jesus was on the shore. But his followers didn't realize it was Jesus. And yet Jesus called out to them, "Friends, haven't you any fish?" And they answered no. I was curious as to why the disciples didn't recognize Jesus. Maybe it was too early in the morning, or maybe it was because Jesus didn't want them to, or maybe where they were was out of context to see Jesus, so they missed him. Think about the times in our life when we're doing what we do daily. We're frustrated and tired with less than stellar outcomes of our labor. And we're just not looking for any manna, so to speak, because we're tired and we're spent from laboring so long. We often miss his presence simply because we're not looking for him. So Jesus calls out to them as friends and seems interested in the fact that he sees no fish. He was well aware they'd been fishing all night, although they were unaware of who he was or that he was aware of their plight and frustration. Remember, Jesus is our good shepherd, and he stays awake and tends to his flock in the darkest of nights when we're awake and worried and flustered and can't sleep. He never sleeps. He sees when our nets are empty, even when we don't realize he's near. Jesus called them friends, and he offered a suggestion to them to throw their net on the other side of the boat and that they would find fish there. Have you ever had a stranger tell you to do something different and then you did what they said? I can't recall doing that. But even so, these guys did what Jesus said, maybe because he prefaced his suggestion by calling them friends. Who knows? And when they did what he said, they couldn't even haul in the fish because there were so many. It was when that happened that Peter recognized Jesus and said, "It is the Lord." And when Peter said that, Simon jumped in the water and the others followed in the boat, towing the fish. They had only been 100 yards from the shore. And there on the shore sat Jesus, burning coals, fish on the fire, and he had bread. While these friends were fretting, tired, toiling in the night, unable to realize someone was watching, their best friend Jesus had what they were trying to catch, fish, and he was cooking it over the fire. And he invited them to bring the fish they caught, and they had breakfast. It says not one dared to ask, "Who are you?" because they knew it was the Lord. Jesus gave them bread and fish, and he and his friends had breakfast together. So much goodness in this passage about Jesus calling his friends, and us being a friend to Jesus. He never sleeps. He's aware of our plight. He calls us friends, and he offers great advice. We listen and obey. This opens our eyes, and we see that he had our provision all along in his hands, and that our labor and toil all night was unnecessary. What a way to end this series. Surely we can find ourselves in this story, weary from mundane tasks that our lives call us to do, unaware of how close Jesus is, with provision on the fire and bread in his hands. He's a friend that never leaves, one who knows our name and desires, and the one whose hands are open, and he's always inviting us to sit at his table. That shepherd again from Psalm 23, preparing a table for us as always, even with enemies of doubt and frustration lurking in the darkness. He's unbothered. He's totally in charge, and there will never be a friend like him, like Jesus. No, not one.